introduction. Happy New Year, everybody. Yes, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. I want to talk about our 28-year-old daughter, Dana. She has a chronic medical condition. But after about 13 years or so of ongoing treatment, she's living a fine, stable life with major depression and anxiety. Of course, it wasn't always so that way. Sometime before she was officially diagnosed at 16 years old, some bitch moved into her head and said really terrible, terrible things about her. You're stupid. People are laughing at you. You are wasted space. You are useless. The most dangerous place for her was between her ears. Her therapist at one point suggested that we buy her a video gaming system, something that my husband and I resisted for all her life. And I was not sure that this was a good idea, but we bought it anyways, and it turned out it was a good idea. It actually calmed her down, starting with Resident Evil. She played hours and hours, and that meant she wasn't spending time with that bitch in her head. She got involved with the online community, forums and stuff, learning how to play. And that turned out to be a really good space for her because she can duck in and out whenever she could, whenever she felt like it. She didn't have to tell anybody who she was, so she didn't have to explain about her mental health crisis. And she could just start making connections without having to be a good friend. This part about being online was not new for her, actually. When she was 10 years old, she got involved with anime. That's Japanese cartoons. And starting with Naruto, she started watching a lot of these cartoons and got online and used that for a lot of creative stuff, writing fan fiction, drawing characters, and especially producing anime music videos. And again, during her health crisis, this was a super safe space for her because she didn't have to be anybody but just somebody who loved anime. I think I had a little bit of, I had something to do with that. I grew up liking anime myself. I watched Gigantor, Kimba the White Lion, and Astro Boy. When she got involved with more modern anime, she actually suggested things that we could watch together. So I got into Full Metal Alchemist, Code Geass, and that epic Evangelion. If you're into anime, you know these. And unlike the situation with the video games, I wholeheartedly supported her getting involved online regarding anime because she was using that as a creative outlet. And again, during her crisis, she wasn't listening to that bitch in her head. So that was really good. That support was translated into the real physical world at places called fan conventions, what some of you might know as Comic-Cons, where people can just geek out over pop culture. Again, I think that's my fault. We had been going to Comic-Cons for a while. I actually introduced my daughter to Star Trek and Doctor Who. She and her dad probably saw every single Marvel movie there is. And we have been Potterheads. We had been Potterheads for several years. That's Harry Potter, in case you don't know. So going to conventions were things that we did just for a lot of fun. But during her crisis, it felt even more to her. These were her people. She could just geek out and have a whole lot of fun. And when she dressed up as a character and play acted, that's called cosplay, in case you don't know. She also did not have to be her sad, lonely self. She could be a good guy or a bad guy. She could be a spy, a warrior, an assassin. Um, she could be a companion or a space explorer. And so we decided one time that we would go to Phoenix Fan Fest in Glendale, where the Cardinals play. And we decided, well, it was a little more than 2 years since she had started treatment. So she was getting better, but still she was really fragile. So we decided for that event that we would do everything together. That way, if she had a panic attack or if she was triggered into a depressive spiral, I would be there to help get her out of that. So that is why we found ourselves sitting 4 rows from the back in a room with 100 or so other people waiting for a panel called Name That Tune Anime Edition. Now, she insisted that she just wanted to go and watch. But as she was listening to the music to the run-up of the contest, she thought, oh, maybe I can do this. And I said, go for it. It might be fun. So when the organizers asked for volunteer contestants, she went up with about 10 other people. So the rounds went like this. They would play a bit of a song, and the first person who could identify the song correctly got a point. So Dana got quite a few of those through the rounds, including identifying Attack on Titans in 3 notes. Da-da-da? By the end of the rounds, and I don't remember how many there were, by the end of the rounds, she was in a 5-way tie. So now it's the tiebreaker time, which the audience loves because the audience gets to pick who was the best person who, in this case, lip-synced Let It Go from the movie Frozen. The first 3 young ladies did serviceable jobs, and they got really polite applause. Then Dana goes up. Did I mention she was dressed as generic Star Trek officer that day? So she gets up, and somehow, somewhere from the back of her mind, her community theater, show choir, drama class self emerges. And as she's singing the song, she's waving her hands, and she cocks her head on the line, "I'm the queen." Well, the audience really appreciated that. There were a lot of cheers and claps, the loudest one yet. The last contestant was a guy dressed up as Deadpool. He's that anti-hero from Marvel. He apparently did not know the words to the song because he did not lip sync. He instead did a really good breakdance routine, actually. So I thought, okay, Dana's got this in the bag, right? But it's the audience, so they give him equal amounts of applause and cheers. It's a tie. The organizers say, okay, you guys try this one more time. The audience try one more time. So Dana, louder cheers, more clapping, girls screaming like they're at a Hannah Montana concert. Deadpool, equal amounts of louder cheers, louder applause. Guys going, what, like they're at a football game. Another tie. So the organizers say, okay, one last time. The hour's getting late. People are blocking the door to get in for the next panel. One more time. Somehow a spell comes over the audience, and it's almost like it's no longer about picking a winner, but doing the cheering. So for both Dana and then Deadpool, yelling and hollering and whistling, stomping of feet, slapping of thighs, people screaming. I swear I saw somebody dressed up as the TARDIS swooning in the corner. It was so loud. And then suddenly, silence. And to be honest, I think everybody knew that it was still a tie. But the organizers had to pick somebody. They only had one little trophy to give out. So was it going to be Dana or Deadpool? And the organizers picked Deadpool. Exactly. Such a bummer. There were equal amounts of cheers and groans as the exhausted audience picked up their stuff and headed for the doors. I was going against the wave, because now I'm concerned that bitch in Dana's head is telling her stuff in light of this defeat. 2 rows away, I see her face. Her eyes sparkle. She has a grin from rosy cheek to rosy cheek. And I knew then that for that moment, and finally, she was going to be okay. Thank you.